Off-Road Car Racing Championship presented by APSA broke new ground with the first ever off-road race in the Western Cape in March, with the west coast town of Darling playing host to the first round of the championship. Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek in the proudly South African Nissan Hardbody chalked up their fifth consecutive SA Off-Road Car Racing Championship win in the season-opening Nissan Dealer 400. The veteran pair dominated proceedings over the weekend when they won the 68-kilometre prologue to determine starting positions on Friday and then romped to a 3.5-minute victory over former multiple off-road champions R.P. Reinecke and Robin Houghton in the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser. Grobler and Leek's margin of victory would have been greater had they not had to wait 4 minutes for a passing train at a railway crossing, and had they not been forced to stop 3 times at farm dams on the last lap to take on water for the overheating Nissan engine. Third overall and first in the special vehicle category were Atang Machegenene and Mike Stangl in the Sam Racing Jimco, who finished 15 minutes behind the race winners. They were the only Class A finishers in an event that proved to be deceptively tough and which wiped out all but 4 of the 19 special vehicles entered. In a giant-killing performance, reigning Rotax Max Challenge World Champion Mark Cronje, who was making his off-road racing debut, and Chris Birkin finished 4th overall and 3rd in the production vehicle category in their Class E Castrol Toyota Hilux 2.7. Veteran Cassie Kutsia and Oki Fourie crossed the line 29 seconds after Cronje and Birkin in the Class E Castrol Toyota Hilux 3-litre KZTE. Father and son Johan and Martinez van der Merwe from Harrismith drove consistently, finished 6th overall and took home the Class D win in their Shivani Mitsubishi Colt, which completed the event with a broken front differential. Scott Abraham, making his debut as a driver, and Richard Carolyn, making his debut as navigator, finished 7th overall, 6th in the production vehicle category and 3rd in Class T in the O'Hagan's Kopanong Hotel Super Team Jeep. The pair ended with an under-bonnet fire on their way to the finish. The newly formed GBS Nissan team had a successful debut on the Nissan Dealer 400, with JP and Linda Augustine finishing 8th overall and 2nd in Class D. They were followed across the line by Niels and Zelda van der Walt in the Class E Nissan Hardbody, who had a clean run. Former Class D champions Hein Grobler and Gerard Prinsloo, who were forced to complete the last lap in two-wheel drive, rounded out the top 10 and finished 3rd in Class D in their GBS Nissan Hardbody, just over a minute ahead of teammates Kutsika Labuskaghni and Johan Gerber. Manfred Schroeder and Jack Peckham had a torrid time in their Class E Ford Racing Ranger 2.5 turbo diesel. The KwaZulu-Natal cane farmers had fuel feed problems and also picked up a puncture on their way to a 12th place finish, while Mr. Consistency, Gil Nel, finished 13th overall, 2nd in the special vehicle category and 1st in Class B in the Look Africa Truggy, with Andrew Birkin making his special vehicle debut, 3rd in the category and 2nd in Class B in the WPP Wingfoot. Reigning Class B champions Marcus Taylor and Mark de Chelane were the last of 4 special vehicles that managed to complete the event, while JP Hubert and Errol Hodgson's early charge in the Class E N1 4x4 Kia Sportage came to a grinding halt when they were forced to complete the last 124-kilometre lap in low range and had to be content with 16th overall and 5th in Class E. Father and son, Alfred and Tommy van Vuren, finished 17th overall and 6th in Class E in their Nissan Hardbody, and were followed across the line by Top Car managing editor Dion Skuman and Jan Syme in the Class D Top Car Nissan Hardbody. The pair was plagued by punctures. Neil Woolridge and Kenny Schulthammer were the last place finishers and 4th in Class T in the Class E Ford Racing Ranger 2.5 turbo diesel. The pair was forced to compete in the top production vehicle class with a Class E vehicle when their French-built Class T Ford Ranger, which was all but destroyed in a high-speed accident during the Carnival City Casino 400 last year, was not completed in time for the race. Notable retirements from the Nissan Dealer 400 included Dakar star Janelle de Villiers and Francois Jordan in the Class T proudly South African Nissan Hardbody, Reigning production vehicle champions Duncan Foss and Mike Griffiths, also in a Class T, proudly South African Nissan hardbody, and off-road motorcycle star Alfie Cox and Henny Testege in the ex-Duncan Foss Class D Arnold Chats Cars Nissan hardbody.
Very nice. It was very fast. Yesterday I thought it's going to be more of a rally, but today they threw us with quite a lot of off-road stuff. A lot of sand, especially on this second long loop, and the trucks worked hard there. But we're glad to be here.
Alternator belt broke. We lost about 25 minutes in total, but we made it to the end. Thanks to the reliable engine.
The next stop in the AT-Event Championship was Eston in KwaZulu-Natal, where the Natal Off-Road Motor Club staged the Nissan Sugarbelt 400, which had been voted the best organized event in 2002. The proudly South African Nissan off-road team trounced the competition in the Nissan Sugarbelt 400, with Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek taking the overall honours. The veteran pair had won the last 5 events to equal the record set in 1986 by Grobler and Piet Swanepoel, the MSA Off-Road Car Racing Commission president, in a Nissan Safari. And Nissan Motorsport had also chalked up 9 consecutive victories since last year's Nissan Sugarbelt 400. Reigning production vehicle champions Duncan Foss and Mike Griffith had a dismal start to their weekend when they rolled their proudly South African Nissan hardbody in the 50-kilometre prologue. Fortunately, the damage was superficial, and the pair, with Foss severely affected by motion sickness on Saturday, went on to finish second overall, 27 minutes behind their teammates. Early race leader Janelle de Villiers was also affected by motion sickness and was placed on a drip after his proudly South African Nissan hardbody retired with steering problems. In a nail-biting finish, the Class E win and the final podium position went to former Class E champions and local cane farmers Manfred Schroeder and Jack Peckham in the Team Ford Racing Ranger TDI. Rotax Max World Karting champion Mark Grenier and Chris Birkin had to settle for second place in the class and 4th overall in the Castrol Toyota Hilux, and were followed home by veteran Cassie Kutsia and Oki Fari in another Castrol Toyota Hilux KZTE. Only 3 minutes separated the 3 Class E crews at the finish. Multiple off-road motorcycle and enduro champion Alfie Cox and Henny Testege clinched Class D in the Arnold Chats Cars Nissan hardbody and finished 6th overall, 10 minutes ahead of their closest rivals Hein Grobler and Gerard Prinsloo in the Team GBS Nissan hardbody, who finished 9th overall. Former Nissan Sugarbelt 400 winner Cliff Barker and co-driver Vic Kampfer finished 7th overall and 3rd in Class T in the trusty Barker Performance Products Land Rover. Former production vehicle champions Neil Woolridge and Ken Scholthammer had a troubled day in the newly rebuilt Class T Team Ford Racing Ranger, which is now fitted with a V6 engine. The power steering on the French-built Ranger gave up the ghost 200 kilometers into the race, and Woolridge had his work cut out keeping it on the road in twisty forestry and sugarcane sections of the route. They soldiered on to finish 8th overall and 4th in Class T. At the start, it was anyone's guess as to which of 6 Class A crews would cross the line first. Nissan Dealer 400 winners Atang Makhegenene and Mike Stangl, 2002 Nissan Sugarbelt 400 winner John Weir Smith and co-driver Jeff Minnett, winner of 4 races in 2002 Gerard du Plessis and his wife Kobe, 2002 Toyota 1000 winner Greg Dowse and Archie Rutherford, Terence Marsh and Trevor Ayer in the Nashua Mobile Gymco, or Gerald Mundell and Billy Bond in the Prolong Back. Makaganena and Stangl managed to complete 200 meters of the 390-kilometer route before being sidelined with electronic problems. The Du Plessis pair led for a while until mechanical problems put them out of the running. Ware Smith and Minute also led for a while until they were forced to retire with overheating problems on the O'Hagan's Kopanang Hotel Gymco. And Marsh and Ayer called it a day when a belt that drives the supercharger on the National Mobile Gymco's Mitsubishi engine broke. In the end, it was left to Gerald Mundell and Billy Bond in the Prolong Bat and Greg Dowse and Archie Rutherford in the Nashua Mobile Chenoweth to fight it out to the death. The two crews swapped the lead a number of times, but it was Mundell and Bond who stormed across the line first with the left rear tyre of the Prolong Bat in shreds. Dowse and Rutherford in the Nashua Mobile Chenoweth virtually nudging them along in an effort to get past. Reigning Class B champions Marcus Taylor from KZN and Mark de Chalane in the JRE finished third overall and first in Class B for 2-litre powered special vehicles. Veteran Gil Nel won Class B in the Nissan Dealer 400 but had to be content with second in Class B and fourth overall in the Look Africa Truggy and was followed across the line by Gerard and Cobbe Du Plessis in the Liebherr Gymco. Nick Gosler and Glenn Steyn had a steady run and finished 6th overall and first in Class S in the O'Hagan's Kopanang Hotel Raceco. John Moore and Fred Werner were 7th overall in the Class A Connex Shell Chenoweth, in which father and son Franz Czepek Sr. and Jr. won the 2001 Special Vehicle Championship. Former production vehicle driver, now turned special vehicle driver, Andrew Birkin, finished 8th overall and 3rd in Class E in the locally built Wingfoot. Local crew, Warren Morton and Andrew Davis, were 4th in Class B and 9th overall in the Bushpeg. Western Cape-based father and son crew, Bez and Dion Besaidnout, completed the top 10 in their Adenko Sandmaster and were one of only 33 of the 88 entrants who managed to complete the tortuous route.
This is definitely one of the toughest races on the calendar, and we're very happy because from last year, basically from the desert race, we won our first event last year. I think we won now 6 out of the 8, so it's very good for us.
The day was very exciting, very, very tight race. Everything went fantastically, lap 1 and 2. And lap 3 we had a few problems. Our power steering packed up, so we were battling on the tight corners, not getting around the tight corners in time. And Greg caught right up to us. And about a k.5 we had a blowout. And we had no choice but to carry on, and this guy just closed right up onto us, and we up to the finish. Yeah, he was bulldozing us down the road. Yeah. But hey, we got the prize, and we're very happy.
The SA Off-Road